All right. So I have a kind of a stuffed up ear. And have you ever like felt your lymph nodes be a little bit swollen?
Yeah.
So these lymph nodes beside my ear, this one especially, is a little bit
I
swollen.
hope
So
you're
I've been,
not getting the flu, but that's going around.
Miss Linda, we don't have time for that.
I know.
Yeah,
That's a dirty
Olivia,
word, isn't it?
yes, ma'am. Olivia, my daughter, she's in ninth grade. And I'm just gonna open closing my hands as I talk to warm up. But she said yesterday, one of her friends, she thought she may have strep throat, so she went to the doctor after school, and she tested positive for COVID.
Is that right?
So we got COVID going around and the flu. So that's good.
Yeah. I hate to hear that the COVID's come back up, but
Yeah,
well,
I thought
that
we
too.
I thought we had done that and put it behind us. Oh well.
Well,
So,
there's a lot of people that hadn't had the shots,
well, I
and
was thinking about how many, in a cold, because it's a virus, just like COVID, and I guess like the flu. Is the flu a virus?
yeah.
Yes, the flu is a virus. Um, but I was thinking about how many times I touch things and touch my face.
Right.
How many times I touch things that other people touched.
Yeah.
Ever since I started not feeling really good, I've been thinking about that and how I should not touch my face as much as I do, but
Well,
I am constantly touching my face.
well, there's also some kind of pollen that's dropping out there. I don't know what it is, but I saw it
Okay.
on my windshield.
Well, we are
And
just destined to feel like this, I guess. So,
uh,
anywho,
we just
like I
have
said,
to we have to struggle with it.
have you went through the car wash there in Hazelhurst? Like they have a kind of a
One
new car wash.
time, yeah,
It was
one
called
time.
Camel. Is it called Whistle now? And Baxley it's called Whistle.
I don't know what ours is called,
Mm.
but I went through it one time, and I had um, a tag on my front of my car, and
Uh-huh.
something in there pulled it back, and I hadn't been back in there since.
Oh
It's
gosh. Did it hurt anything?
Oh, it just bent that tag, and I hadn't been able to straighten it.
Oh
But
gosh, that's a powerful car wash, isn't it?
something was. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it was about it, but I mean, it did a good job.
Mm. Yeah, I took my car through the car wash this past Sunday and it looks so good. It does a good job for as much work you have to put into it. And then when you
Yeah.
get done, you can vacuum it out, wipe it off or dry it off.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right, let's get in our nice stable stance. Oh, if you're wondering what that is back there, leaned up against the wall, that's my daughter's water bottle that she says leaks. And so I have filled it with water and I have turned it upside down. And
Oh,
I think what she I think what she was doing is she wasn't okay, I have one just like it. There's a straw like this that pops up. I don't think she was pushing it down all the way. So that I've been testing it today.
sometimes those don't click real good.
Yeah, I think she just wasn't pushing it down because it hadn't leaked a bit since I pushed it down. All right.
Yeah.
Nice stable stance. My Kleenex out my pocket. We're breathing. Good posture. Relaxed shoulders. Nice soft bend in our knees. Let's start with our neck. Bringing our hands up towards our chin and chest. Push away. Follow our hands all the way down. Come back up. chin to chest, or not chin to chest. You have to ignore my brain. It's it's clogged up. We're bringing our hands towards our chin and chest, pushing away and following those hands all the way down, chin towards the chest. There's the spot for those words. Do our other neck, exercise where we look over that shoulder, back to the front, switch hands, side to side. This feels so good on my neck, stretching that muscle. Now let's roll our shoulders. Roll forward, small circles, and roll back. Really does feel like a massage for yourself. That's why I'd probably go a little bit bigger than that quarter. Now big shoulder circle up and push down. Up and down. Grab your ball. Let's stretch our spine. Push up and down. Back to our ball. And separate. Stretching that spine vertically. I like to inhale as I come to my ball and exhale as I separate. Let's take our ball for a ride, side to side, just like or not just like, but very similar to our waving hands and clouds movement. Just reminding ourselves to not keep tension in our shoulders and not go any further than just above that knee, staying within our frame. Now for our lower body, shift our weight to one leg, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward.
I get that mixed up every time.
Are you going back with your foot and forward with your foot?
Trying to, and I get confused of which one I've done.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's intended to be a counterbalance. That's why when you're forward, your foot's back. But if you're here, as long as your body's upright, it's not that big of a deal. If you're here, and then if you're here, you see, I can keep my body upright. So if that is challenging you to keep your body upright by having both back at the same time, then the counterbalance may help you stay upright to have it opposite. But that's why we do it. But if it's not causing you a problem to stay upright, then that's the main thing. All right, let's go to our other leg. Heel forward, hands back. Pause.
Which leg are you supposed to be doing?
It doesn't matter. Whichever one you just, the opposite of the one you already did.
One that I did.
the opposite. Now, I started with my right and then I went to my left.
Yeah.
In our warm-ups, we do it on both sides. It doesn't matter which one you start with, as long as you do the other one next. It's only in our Tai Chi movements that it matters, right or left. But let's face it, if we did the wrong way in our Tai Chi movements, the Tai Chi police ain't gonna arrest us.
I know
Main thing
that,
is, go
I know
ahead.
that the arm was supposed to be opposite of the leg, and
Yes,
I get it mixed up.
that's okay. Just place your foot first and then place your hands.
Yeah.
Meet in the middle and then switch. So maybe starting off with one movement, then put your hands in place. Here, move your foot and then place your hands. It may be doing it all at the same time that can be confusing.
I think probably what I do is want to go too fast and I can't do it.
Sometimes we go fast. It's easier to go fast, but to really slow down and settle into that one leg holding your weight, that's very challenging. So one thing you can do is either have a chair, a wall, table, something stable nearby. Forget the hand, just forget the hand movement. Hold your chair and move your foot. Or do one arm. That way you can have support by your chair and not have to worry so much about your leg holding your weight. And then go to the other side for the that outside leg. So that can be helpful too, is relying on the chair and let it take some of the work, because you may be speeding up because you're trying not to make your leg hold your weight, like you're kind of trying to check it off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just me. I think I just get mixed up somehow.
It's all right. It's kind of like, what is it? Rubbing your belly and tapping your head.
Yeah.
I'm doing a pretty good job right now. I don't know how. But it's a lot going on at once. That's why Tai Chi is good for us, though, because it does challenge us. It challenges our mind. It challenges our body. So that's just some of the benefits of our Tai Chi. Let's shift our weight from side to side. Stacking our hands. We take them in the direction of the weight shift, staying in our frame, not going any further than that. And then if you feel comfortable, tap that toe out, bring it back, switch our hands, shift, tap, bring it back. Go on. Okay. We take our hands in the direction of the weight shift. So I'm shifting the weight to this leg and my hands are going in that direction as I shift. Now there's no weight on this leg, so I tap it out, bring it back, switch, now shift the weight to that leg, tap it out. Shift, lift and tap. Shift, lift and tap. Most important thing we're doing here is the weight shift. So forget the hands. If you do nothing with your hands, shift the weight to one leg. Don't even worry about tapping the foot out. Shift the weight to the other leg. Or hold on to the chair. This is my invisible chair. Shift the weight and tap out. So that way I can use the chair for support and take away some of that fear that I have as I shift the weight and bravely lift that foot to tap it out. But the
Well,
most important thing is that weight shift right there. So shift and shift. Slowly shift. Don't get in a hurry, but slowly shift. That's most important. The hand, that just makes it touchy.
I'm not doing too good with my balance today.
Well, do you have a chair you can bring nearby?
Yeah, I got one right here.
Okay. Do you want to do this seated? It's just you, me and you.
I don't know what it is though. I mean, I guess I'm just off.
That's
Off
okay.
balance.
We all have off days. Believe me, I'm having one today.
Well, I can understand you having one, but
if you want, we can do it seated. It's totally up to you.
but that's pressing in. You got to sit there and press each one in.
Seated or standing, ma'am?
If you're sitting down, you got to sit at the edge of your chair and press down with your foot, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And no weight on the other.
That's right. So if the seated version of this movement looks like this.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay.
So the foot that I'm pushing into the floor, that's the same as the foot that I was shifting weight to. So I go in the direction of the weight shift with my hands.
Yeah.
The opposite leg comes out. Now,
I'm gonna have to do it standing up.
okay, that's fine. I always say the seated version is more difficult, but
Yeah.
I really think it's because I don't have as much practice with it seated. So, and I don't have any problems with balance. So, I don't have that experience needing to sit down for safety. But I do like the idea of holding onto the chair for balance, or to take away that fear. I like having it nearby, or at least something nearby to do the movements, even if I'm skipping some of the upper body ones, just to hold on to it.
The standing version, you keep both feet on the floor. You just put the weight on one leg, one foot.
Now you can tap that foot out, but that's very brave to be able to not be too scared to lift that foot up and tap it out. Because when you lift that foot up and tap it out, you're basically committing to standing on one leg. And so that's scary for some people. So you can shift the weight and not have to move this foot. Shift the weight, and that foot, it has no weight on it, but I'm not picking it up and moving it. So that's like a more friendly version for weight shifting, especially if balance is an issue or if fear of falling is an issue. So you're getting the practice of the weight transfer. You're getting the practice of that upright posture. You're getting the practice of that slow, smooth, and continuous movement. You're getting the practice of the principles, which gives you the benefits, but you're making a choice to not do something that scares you, that you're afraid you're going to fall. by practicing the weight transfer, then your muscles get stronger. And when your muscles get stronger, then you're more able and less likely to fall. So choose what you can do and do that. It's not doing anything that's the worst thing you can do, because your muscles get weak when you don't do anything.
Right.
So I love the practice of, even if it's holding a chair, here's my invisible one, of shifting weight from one leg to the other, side to side, and then staggering your stance where one foot is up further. Shift weight to the front foot, keeping both feet flat on the floor. Shift to back foot. So I'm shifting front and back while I'm holding my chair. We're pretending this is a chair. And
Kind of
then,
like taking a step.
yeah.
That's kind of like taking a step.
Just like what we do whenever we do our knee exercise, where we step forward and we shift and punch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that, but we're not doing anything with our hands. We're holding that chair. We have the staggered stance, and we're shifting front and then shifting back. So we're practicing getting our muscles stronger, shifting weight front and back, just like we practiced side to side. Then we switch and put the other foot forward and shift weight forward and shift weight back.
I'm
And
having
so
a problem with locking my knee.
Locking your knee. Whenever you have that staggered stance and you have the leg in the back, when you shift back, it bends, and that front leg is more, I guess, locked.
Yeah.
And then when you go forward, the front leg is bent and the back leg is locked. So you're not going to have that bend. You will have the bend on the leg that you shift weight towards in this staggered stance. When you shift and bring the weight to this back foot, the back leg bends. When you shift weight to the front foot, the front leg bends. So I wouldn't call it locked, but it's straight.
Well, I think my left one locks up pretty well.
So after it's locked, do you have a hard time shifting weight back to it?
It's more difficult than it is the other side.
Okay. Well, what you can do is play with the spacing of your feet. So maybe if your feet are closer together, because right now my feet are closer together than they were, and I'm not putting all of my weight to that front foot. I'm going to keep a soft bend in my front and my back. You see that? I'm shifting weight front and back, but I'm not completely shifting weight, and my feet are closer together. So I'm able to keep that soft bend in both legs as I
think
shift weight.
what I'm doing is trying to go too far out.
Yeah, so just pull your legs a little closer together. So you're still in a staggered stance, but that way when you shift the weight, that leg isn't getting locked. But that's why I always say, like, that's where the magic of muscle or leg strength happens, is in the weight transfer. And the reason why Tai Chi helps you with falls prevention is because we do weight transference all the way through. Even if you never learn the Tai Chi series of movements with commencement, open and close, single whip, waving hands and clouds, and then with our advanced movements of brush knee, play the lude, parry punch, block and close, and push the tiger. Even if you never learn any of those movements, if you just stay within our warm-ups Practice those with principles in mind. There's that weight transference. There's the reminder for the upright posture. The pace of the movement being slow, smooth, and continuous. Keeping the soft bend in your elbows, the soft bend in your knees, that lends itself to that open joint, or the ability for the energy to flow through your body. Even when you do open and close, so here your hands are facing each other. Think about leaving a little bit of room in your armpits and not closing your armpits like that. So here,
Yeah.
here. So that is an open joint where it allows energy to flow. So even if you just do the warm-ups, as long as you're practicing principle, then you're going to get the benefits. So don't stress that you have to learn all of this stuff. Take it to the basics. If you walk around your home Tai Chi style, where you check your posture, start to walk with the weight transfer, shifting weight to one leg, small step, heel toe, shift the weight, step, heel toe, shift the weight. So slowly, smoothly, continuously, I'm walking Tai Chi style. So that's just Tai Chi walking. Using principles is going to get you the benefits. Throw in some good breathing, and man, you're on your way to getting those benefits, especially muscle strength. That helps with falls. Excuse me. Told you as class went on, I was going to gradually lose my voice. All right. So back to our warm-ups for our knees. So we have our loose fist. We shift our weight to one leg. We tap our toe out and punch opposite hand. Remember, this is another one you can hold your chair, skip the punches. But here you shift the weight, lift and punch. So I'm keeping my toe pretty close to the ground. I'm just tapping it out forward. Shift, lift, tap and punch.
My mind shuts down. It's like I get started and my mind shuts down and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Keep your hands on your loose fist at your hips.
Yeah.
Shift and tap your toe out. Forget your hands. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Is that easier?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just sometimes we got too many things going on and we just don't want to
I do have something going on. I bet
so
Hack did too.
Just skip your hand.
I guess that's the reason I'm off balance. When your card gets hacked, you get concerned about it.
That's right. No kidding. So are you speaking metaphorically, or did your card really get hacked?
It really got hacked with a
Miss Linda, how did that happen?
It happened over the weekend.
Where did they get your number?
That's how I don't know.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
So I'm trying to get that straightened out now, and that's the process.
I thought you were speaking metaphorically about how your brain is your card, and sometimes your brain gets hacked.
My brain has been hacked, but this brain has been really it's got me upset, and I guess that's the reason I'm off balance.
Well, it is a good reason to be upset, because it makes you mad, and when you're a trusting person and you're violated in that way, it does something to you that you just, it's
well,
just
I just
terrible.
can't understand how a person can do that to another person.
Yeah, like you would never do that to anyone, so you just don't understand why someone would do it to you. And if somebody needed something, you'd probably help them if you could. So
Yeah.
it's just right out mean. A lady came into our hotel room. This was a couple years ago. Came into our hotel room and took 2 checks out of my checkbook. And it was lower in the check. And I didn't
Yeah.
know it for about a month. But she wrote the checks to herself, went to my bank, and my bank cashed them. And she knew what she was doing because she wrote it under the amount to not be a big deal, like it was still a misdemeanor, it
Right.
wasn't a felony. She wrote 2 checks, so one check was a charge, the second check was another charge. If she had wrote 1 check for the one amount, she would have gotten in trouble, but because she didn't. So, but it destroyed everything. I mean, we had to close our checking. We had everything that was direct anything. I mean, it's just so frustrating and
It
just a
is.
hassle.
It is
Um, thank,
frustrating because
I mean, thankfully our bank gave us our money back, thankfully
I'm
for
hoping
that.
mine will, but it's not my fault that it happened,
No.
but
How
still,
did you,
it takes a process to get it done,
how
and
did you catch
I have
it?
bills I have to pay.
That's right. How did you catch it?
How did I catch it? It
Uh-huh.
was by the automated system. I was checking my transactions and
Uh-huh.
come across it, and I knew I hadn't made that big sizable transaction.
Well, good for
And
you for keeping track of your
you
transactions.
can't be too careful with that.
No.
And it's happening too much. I told them at the bank, I said, if this keeps happening, I'm just going to have to quit using a debit card.
What'd
And
they say?
well, they didn't blame me, but it's not going to say that I can do it because there's some places won't take checks and some places won't take cash. You don't know what you can do.
Right. I
So
know that's frustrating. Well, I understand more clearly now your how frustrated you are, like where your mind is.
yeah, my mind is on that, most definitely.
We need to just do
Because
some open and close, don't we?
uh, an old person don't need to have to deal with this kind of stuff. I don't know that
No,
much about electronics either,
that's
you
right.
know. But anyway,
I'm glad
let's go with what we're
I'm
going
glad
with
you
next.
knew enough to keep check of it though.
Yeah.
All right. So we did we stepped out and shifted our weight front and back, and we talked about how if we have our legs a little closer together, then that's easy to keep that soft bend and we don't have to lock our legs. So that's a good one for our knees. But for our
Yeah.
ankles, we shift weight to one leg and we heel toe, just rock that foot, heel toe. Bring it back, shift the weight, heel toe. Bring it back, shift weight, big toe, little toe. Side to
I'm
side.
doing toe heel.
That's all right.
Going sideways.
Yep, side to side. Just working on the mobility of our ankle joint. Help get rid of that any kind of tension or stiffness that's there in the ankle joint. Increasing the flexibility. And that's what we do with our warm-up stretches. We're trying to work on the neck mobility. So let's just get to basics of our movements.
Okay.
And the basics of our movement is chin to chest. So when I put my chin to my chest, I feel a little stretch back here. Our Tai Chi movement is up here, push, chin to chest. So we have this whole arm thing going when the basic of that movement is chin to chest.
Yeah.
Now, with the hand movement, we can practice gentle resistance. So when we bring our hands towards our chin and chest, we can kind of pull, and then we change and we push. So that helps us practice that principle. But the basic of that movement is chin to chest.
Right. Okay.
The basic of that other move, or our next neck stretch, so remember it goes like this.
Yeah.
The basic of that movement is look towards your shoulder. So never mind the hands. The basic is to look over towards that shoulder. So we have chin to chest, and we have look over our shoulder. And so that's to help with the mobility of our neck. Now, there are other ways we can move our neck. We can take our ear towards our shoulder and kind of lay our head over. So that's another way we can stretch our neck. That's not a Tai Chi warm-up stretch, but the
It
basic,
is a good stretch.
Yeah, that
It is a
ear
good
towards
stretch.
that shoulder. So those are probably the 3 best neck stretches that you can do. The next is for our shoulders. Of course, we rotate them forward and back, and then we do that big shoulder circle. Those are real simple movements. But when it comes to our spine, we're stretching our spine like that.
Yeah.
That ball sometimes gets us confused. So, but really the base of the movement is just pushing up and down, and then pushing up and down. So we come to the middle for our ball. We're just stretching that spine, just like you get up out of bed and you're just like, oh, stretch that spine. And then the other one that we do is when we take the ball side to side, the basis of that movement is just a torso movement, side to side. And that's to warm up the spine. So sometimes in our, with our Tai Chi, they added in these like hand things to make it feel more like Tai Chi. When we just think about the basis of that movement is, moving that torso side to side. Yeah. And then we talked about this a while ago with our hips. With the hands forward, foot back, hands back, foot forward. If we just forget the hands, holding on to the chair or just having them beside us, shift and weight and tap here. So I'm not doing anything with my hands. I'm just tapping and tapping back. So the basis of this movement is the weight shift, so that one leg is holding our weight, and then we challenge that weight shift by moving this other leg. Moving this other leg stretches our hip. So when we do that movement seated, it goes, heel forward, and then we go back to the seated position. We're not going to go like this seated because we're more likely to fall. And so when we do this seated, we just go heel forward, and then we come back to seated position. The foot that's not moving To me, it's helpful to push it into the floor. It becomes kind of like a cane or a crutch. It's like a pole that stabilizes you while you move this other leg. And you can try it both ways to see what you think. But to me, it feels more stable to be able to push that foot into the floor. Here. The basis of our other movement, the one where we have the stacked hands as we go side to side, is just a weight shift side to side. Even if you pick that foot up and tap it out.
What's that for?
Well, in our Tai Chi warm-ups, it's for our hips.
For the hips. That's what I was thinking about. Sitting down, this is what you do for the hips.
Yeah, when we sit, this movement seated, that's the one where you lay that knee out and you really feel that nice stretch right here in your hip.
Okay.
Lay in the, I love this stretch seated. I feel like it does more for my hips when I do this seated than when I stand up.
Yeah.
I feel like standing up, I get more practice with that weight shift and with my leg holding my weight while I do something with the other. To me, the weight shifting and the leg holding my weight, that's the biggest challenge of this movement. And I'm sure it warms up my hip, but here, I really feel that stretch in my hip. And I'm in control of how far I lay that knee out. And you don't have to worry about doing any hand movement, but if you did, you would take your hands in the direction of that stable leg.
Right.
And switch.
Yeah.
Shift. Just like that. And then of course our ankles, if you the basis of the movement is just a rocking ankle. And it's okay if you do toe heel instead of heel toe, as long as you're just rocking that ankle. And then side to side. If you're seated, I would sit back in your chair so the chair supports the majority of your thigh, and raise either both at the same time, both legs at the same time, or one at a time, and just rotate that ankle in circles. You can do like windshield wipers. He'll just point your toe and point it back. Anything to move that ankle and that foot to work on the flex. And if you can't raise your feet, you can tap your toes on the ground, and that's gonna work on the ankle joint. Tap your heel, so you can go heel, toe, heel, toe. You can rock them both at the same time, even with your feet on the floor. So you can do one at a time or both at the same time. And then it's very awkward for me to do big toe, little toe on the floor in a seated position, but I can move my ankles lots of ways with my feet in the air that I can't whenever I'm standing.
Yeah.
And this is good for circulation. It's not just good for your ankles. But our feet are the farthest from our heart. So when it comes to circulation, that's the farthest that our blood has to travel. And because of that, people have problems with their feet, sometimes with neuropathy, sometimes with sores healing if you're a diabetic, if your blood is too thick from blood sugar. And so just keeping that circulation going is good for you. All right. So any more questions about our warm-up stretches?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just not being able to do it It's a good
That's all
day.
right. That's all right. We have good days and bad days. Um, good body days and bad body days. I know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Being a
Okay.
woman, I have experienced that my cycle, like my menstrual cycle,
Yeah.
um, there are different days in my cycle when my muscles are weak and it makes me angry, but it's just the way it is because I'll
Yeah.
go to do a certain thing and I'm not able to do it. And then I
Right.
realize, oh, yeah, my cycle. So my cycle is affected. So yes, our
It does
good and
affect
bad days.
different things. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Of
and
course, I don't have
it's
that
not
problem now.
it's
I've
not
got
about
old
it,
age.
huh?
I said I've got old age for my problem now. Old age and old mind.
Well, I tell you, there is something to say about as your body gets older, it just wears out.
Yeah.
And it's because God didn't make us to live forever. You
No,
know,
you sure
that's why the older you get, you're more likely to have knee replacement and hip replacement because those are your weight bearing joints. And the
right.
more you use them, the
The
quicker
more
they're
they
going to
wear
wear
down.
out.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you, the longer you live, the more you're going to use them.
Right.
Think too about sometimes people are overweight. And so if they have too much weight and they're
Yeah.
using that joint, then it puts more work on there. That reminds me, my mother-in-law had a knee replacement surgery today. I need to check on her.
I'm just glad that I don't have that weight problem. You know, that's an
Right.
extra problem when you have a weight
Mhm.
problem.
I know one of my friends, she's overweight and she has knee problems. They
Yeah.
won't do her surgery unless she loses weight. But it's hard for her to lose weight because she can't exercise because she hurts.
Yeah.
So that has to be so frustrating.
Yeah. It sure is. It's got to. Because the only thing that would help her would be her diet.
Right. And that's not
And
always easy.
sometimes with some people, diet doesn't help.
Nope. You're right.
They just their
Well, let's
metabolism.
Yes. Let's go through our basic six and then we'll cool down. So we're
Okay.
going to start at the top. I'm going to scooch over here so I have room to do my movements. Starting with commencement, getting our nice stable stance, reminding ourselves to breathe, not holding tension, and begin. Commence up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift, 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 step and switch, turn to the middle for open and close. Single whip, shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left hand back, waving hands in clouds, step and switch, shift and turn, 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 step and switch, shift and turn. and to the middle for open and close. That was a lot today, wasn't it, Miss Linda?
Yeah.
I got tickled at myself saying step and switch, shift and turn. And I'm like, am I doing that or am I just saying it?
I think I just forget about the bottom when I'm doing the top. When I'm doing the top, the bottom, I forget about the top. You know, I've had that problem ever since I started.
Well, this movement, and it's why this poster stays up at all times, because this
I got
movement
mine up
is
there too.
this
I got
movement
mine
is so
right above the tablet, and I can see it, but I still get. I'm looking at you and not looking at the sign.
I got you. Well, sometimes instead of putting it all together, like I just put it all together, sometimes we just need to do one at the time. So when we step and then switch our hands, and then we turn, and then we shift, and then we step, and then we switch, and then we turn, then we shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift. So then you're only doing one thing at a time. Step, switch, turn, shift, step. And you don't have to worry about how many. Just practice that one thing at a time. And you may like to switch before you step, or you may like to shift before you turn. You know, you kind of find which works best for you.
Suits you better.
But so I can be at the end of that single whip. I can go ahead and switch, then I can step, if that makes better sense for you. I like to go ahead and step to widen myself. Switch, turn, shift.
All right, the switch part is what?
The switch is go the switch is your hands. So you're going from, well, you're actually coming from single whip. So you're here. Now you're going to switch. So you bring this hand down to your hip and this one across body. So you're here. You have a hand by your hip and a hand cross body like a sash.
This is the switch. This is the switch here.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
the switch. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's the switch. So then I turn and I
Yeah.
switch my hands. Switch. Turn. Switch. Turn. Switch.
Switch.
Turn. Switch. So now we're not doing anything with our legs. We're just switching our hands. Turn. Switch. Turn.
But when you turn, you generally switch a shift according to your chart, right?
Uh-huh. Or you can finish the turn and then shift. That's kind of what I do, honestly. You can do those together. But turn and then shift.
Right.
Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift. It's a lot. So just break it down one step at a time. All right, let's cool down, giving ourselves a little fist massage, thanking our legs for working so hard.
We're gonna get it yet. I know I am.
Oh, we are. And our brains are really overworked today. Our brains are trying to think about something else. So,
Yeah.
sometimes we use Tai Chi as a way to, kind of, get away and just relax. But sometimes things are bigger than that and it's hard. So
That's true.
acknowledge that and it's okay. Especially when it comes to money. Ooh,
Right. It's so money is not worth as much as it used to be, and you worry about that when you don't have it,
that's right.
because
Let's
bills have to
tighten
be
our
paid.
muscles. Oh yeah, because it's not like you can call Janice up at the heating and air, whatever, the shoot,
Say,
what are
I
they
haven't got
called?
the money.
EMC. You can't call Janice at EMC and say, Janice, they stole my
Right.
credit card and da da da. And she go, it's all right, Miss Linda. We're not worried about it. We'll know you got it fixed. They don't treat you like that anymore.
No, they don't.
And that's sad. That's where one place we've gone wrong
Absolutely.
we don't care about people like we used to.
No,
Well, I do. I care about people.
I do
but
too.
I don't
That's
take any money.
I think I think what it is though is the majority of the people don't care.
Mhm. Well, at least we know there are people that do care left.
Right.
And I know that things are going to get right with you.
Well, I'm gonna keep praying that it settles soon.
I will too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's put our right fist that represents our strength. Our fingers together is our friendship, our humility. We put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
So thank
Thank
you,
you
Miss
for being.
Linda.
I hope you get to feeling better, honey.
Thank you, darling. I'll see you next Tuesday, but let me know if you need anything between now and then, okay?
I will. Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a good rest of the week.
You too. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.